This is the Crisscross Show. I'm back. I have a new episode for you today. I have my new NBA Top 10 as of April 19th. I have three new segments that I'm very excited to show you. They are Fly on the Wall, Elephant in the Room, and Something, Nothing, or Everything. Anyways, enjoy. Okay, so I have a new NBA Top 10. The last time I did my rankings were April 8th. It is April 19th today, so I have a new set of rankings. So 2 weeks ago when I last did the rankings, I had the Dallas Mavericks in the top 10. As of today, they are out of my top 10 just because they've been kind of like on a little bit of a downtrend for them. So there is a new team in the top 10, which is actually number 10, the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers are 32-24. They're sixth place in the Western Conference. They're a couple of games back of the Lakers for the fifth seed. They've been playing pretty good, but my problem with Portland, and I've realized this, is that the team that they have currently constructed is at best the sixth or even the eighth best team in the Western Conference. I don't think that if they met the Memphis Grizzlies or even the Dallas Mavericks in a 7-game series that they would get out of those two series. Or if they would, they'd probably win in 7 games or 6 games. It'd probably be a pretty big series for them. So the Portland Trailblazers are number 10 just because Damian Lillard has been sensational. But again, I do believe that their ceiling is first round / possibly second round. So the Portland Trailblazers are number 10. Number 9, the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, when they fired their coach, they were, I think, 16-20. And since then, they have gone 15-6, which means that they are 31-26. They've been playing pretty good basketball as of recently. You're starting to see Trae Young be more of a facilitator rather than a scorer, which is actually a recipe of success for the Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks are number 9. Number 8, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have kind of gone down in the rankings, actually because of Jamal Murray being out. So we know Jamal Murray tore his ACL and is out for the rest of the year. They need Jamal Murray. And I think that if they face the other teams in the Western Conference that are actually ahead of them in the rankings, that they would lose. I do think Jamal Murray does take them over to at least a Western Conference Finals trip. And I think with him out, the Denver Nuggets are going to need to find another point guard. So the Denver Nuggets are number 8. Number 7, the LA Lakers. They are 35-22, fifth in the West. They are about, I think, a game and a half behind the Denver Nuggets in the standings, but they've been holding their own pretty well without LeBron and Anthony Davis. I do believe they are the second or first best defensive team since LeBron and Anthony Davis have both been out, which is pretty good. Their defense has been consistent, which I really like. Once those two guys will come back, the Western Conference better watch out. So the LA Lakers will remain number 7. Number 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. They're 35-21, which is third for the Eastern Conference. I believe they're right where they need to be in the Eastern Conference, which is third. I don't think they would beat Philadelphia or even Brooklyn in a 7-game series. I do give them their ceiling for this year. For me, is the Eastern Conference semifinals, because again, they're the best. They're the third best team in the league, or the conference. And I think that's exactly where they're at. I think 6th place for them is good enough for me. Anyways, I will come back and I will give you my top 5 teams. All right, 5 best teams in the NBA right now. Number 5, the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz did lose Donovan Mitchell to an ankle injury. He'll be back in about a week or so. I do believe that he's going to take a week or so to rest. Again, he's been playing all year long. I think Donovan Mitchell should rest at this point, get that ankle ready. The Utah Jazz, in my opinion, you can see their flaws. Obviously, they've been healthy most of the year, which is why they have the best record in the league. Because, again, they haven't had that injury bug like other teams have had. So they've had that continuity. They've had that time to build chemistry, which is why they're first in the Western Conference. But, again, I have seen flaws. And I have seen it been exposed in a couple of games this year, which is alarming to me, which is why I don't think that they're ahead of those teams that are ahead of them. So Utah will be number 5. Number 4, the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers went on a 7-game win streak last week. They did recently lose to Philadelphia. And again, the LA Clippers are 40-19, which is 3rd in the Western Conference. They are 3 games in the loss column behind the Phoenix Suns. So, I can't put them ahead of the Phoenix Suns just yet, just because I think in a 7-game series, the Phoenix Suns would beat the LA Clippers, because I do believe that Phoenix has the capability to slow down, or the personnel to slow down, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in a series. So the LA Clippers are number 4. Number 3, the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets recently lost Kevin Durant to a right knee contusion, which is a little alarming. But again, Kevin Durant's been kind of inconsistent this year with injuries. I do believe if Kevin Durant is on the court, and James Harden's on the court, I do believe they are the 3rd best team in the league, just because of the little sample size that they've shown us. And I've got to pay a little bit of respect to their record. Again, this is regular season rankings. So again, their regular season rankings is 38-19, which is 2nd best in the Eastern Conference, which to me proves a lot. So Brooklyn will be number 3. Number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers. They had a huge win against the Clippers. Again, Kawhi Leonard did sit out. But again, they are 1st in the Eastern Conference, and they've been impressing me all year. They had a hot start to the beginning of the year, and they've kind of slowed down a little bit with Joel Embiid's injury, but they're now back into it. With Joel Embiid there, he takes them to another level, because again, he's a presence in the paint. So, and also they have Defensive Player of the Year in Ben Simmons on their team. So I do believe that their defense is going to be really, really great in the playoffs, which right now has been really consistent and really great. So Philadelphia will remain number 2. Number 1, the Phoenix Suns. I believe the Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball. They've been playing great. They have a good all-round collection of players. Jay Crowder is a good 3-and-D player. DeAndre Ayton is developing into a rim protector. Chris Paul is the point guard. Devin Booker is a great shooting guard. And I think there are other pieces around them that just complement those players. And I think that if they were to meet any team in a 7-game series right now, they would win it all. So there you have it, my NBA top 10 as of April 19th. Number 10, the Portland Trail Blazers. Number 9, the Atlanta Hawks. Number 8, the Denver Nuggets. 7, the LA Lakers. Number 6, the Milwaukee Bucks. 5, Utah. 4, Clippers. 3, Brooklyn. 2, Philadelphia. And number 1, the Phoenix Suns. So there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below of my rankings. Do you agree? Do you not disagree? I'd love to hear. Okay, so I have this new segment called Fly on the Wall, which is basically what it means. Fly on the wall. I'm just an observer watching from afar and just giving you my opinion on this. So Kevin Durant last week or a couple weeks ago came out and said that he doesn't need to prove anything anymore on the basketball court. He's just playing to be the best player he can be. Championships don't really mean much to him, as you can see on the segment. I wasn't
expecting to be a happy human being from a title. I was just expecting, like, the ending of a movie. Once you work so hard and everybody tells you, like, yo, this is what you need to be working for, is this gold ball and these rings. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Let me lock in on that. And I locked in on wanting to achieve that, but I also realized it's a lot of stuff that factors in it that's out of my control. And once I won a championship, I realized that, like, yo, my view on this game is really about development. Like, how good can I be? It's not about, let's go get this championship or let's go get this gold ring. It's like, yo, how great can you be every time you step out on the floor? Because dudes who don't do nothing on the court become champions. Yeah. And dudes who don't contribute at all in any type of form or fashion can run around and hide behind the championship. But, like, I want to be a great basketball player. And, once I won a championship, I'm like, oh, that's what my goal is. Just to be great every day, not to be chasing some stuff that the humans created, you know what I'm saying, in a ring or gold ball. And I appreciate that stuff, and I want to win and experience that stuff, but it's not the end all be all why I play the game.
Anyways, my opinion on this is I think it's blasphemy. Now, again, Kevin Durant's made his money. He's won his championships. He doesn't really, I guess, need to prove anything in people's eyes, but if you don't need to prove anything or don't really care about championships, then why are you playing? The whole point of playing the game of basketball in the NBA is to win championships, especially a player of Kevin Durant's caliber. So that's just my opinion on how I feel about that. I don't really know what Kevin Durant meant when he said this. I guess it's more, from what I take out of it, is a couple years ago when LeBron joined the Lakers, he said he was here to just kind of play basketball. He doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. His legacy is set. Now, what I took out of it was he knew that his team wasn't capable of winning a championship. So he was going to say this to get people to think, oh, it doesn't matter if he doesn't make the finals or wins another championship. His legacy is set. So when I hear Kevin Durant do this or say this, I think of that he knows his team doesn't have a chance to win the championship based off of how the season's kind of gone. So he's saying this to kind of, I guess, minimize the damage when the playoffs occur and his team gets eliminated. That's just my opinion on that specific thing that he said, is that he's trying to defer the attack, so to say, from the fans or from the media on how Kevin Durant's not a great player, whatnot. So that's just what I got out of it, that Kevin Durant is just kind of deferring and saying, hey, I'm just playing to be the best player I can be. What am I? So that's what I got out of it. Let me know what you think on that segment. That's my fly on the wall. That's my outside observer's observation on that. The elephant in the room is the next segment that I want to introduce. So again, it's just what it is, an elephant in the room. What's the most obvious thing? So I'm going to be the first person to say this, and probably the most controversial thing I'll say here is that the Portland Trailblazers, if they do not make the Western Conference semifinals or even the Western Conference semifinals, they need to sell. They need to just start rebuilding, trade Damian Lillard, or just say, hey, we're just going to cut our ties and just start rebuilding from here. Because I think that the Portland Trailblazers have been consistent for so long, and they haven't made a finals trip. They've only made the Western Conference finals one time. Other than that, they've been a first round or a second round exit every year for the past 6 years. So I love Portland. I love Damian Lillard. I thought Portland for a while was a good team. I really wanted them to make the Western Conference Finals before LeBron was in the Lakers. Just because I really like Damian Lillard. I thought Damian Lillard was a great player. But they've been so consistent the past couple of years, which just like, I think that that's their ceiling, is the Western Conference semifinals this year. That's their ceiling. I'd be surprised if they made the Western Conference Finals for that sake. So I just think that Portland should start selling, or should start considering selling if they're an early first round exit this year, because I think that this recipe that they're cooking up is just, it's a definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and thinking you're going to get a different result. So I think Portland should sell or consider selling the team, meaning giving away players, start rebuilding if they're a first round exit this year. So that's my elephant in the room for you. All right. The next segment is something, nothing, or everything. Now, this segment is just my opinion, whether it's something, nothing, or everything. So my first one is Donovan Mitchell being out with an ankle injury. Is it something, nothing, or everything? To me, this is everything. Donovan Mitchell is your best player and he's hurt. You need to sit him out, rest him as long as you possibly can. That team without Donovan Mitchell can hold down the fort at least for a while without him. I do believe he needs to get back as quickly as possible, but I think he needs to take his time to kind of rest. He's been playing every game this year. He's been playing a lot. He needs to just kind of relax, chill out. If Utah wants to even make a long playoff push, they need to kind of rest Donovan Mitchell, give him some break, give him some time off so he can relax. So I think this is everything with him being out, that they need to monitor this and they need to be very, very careful with this. So I believe that this is everything for the Utah Jazz and for Donovan Mitchell being out. The next one is KD getting hurt with the right knee contusion. I think this is everything. I think this is everything because, again, we've all seen the James Harden recipe in Houston for 6-7 years. We all know how that turns out. You need Kevin Durant. I think James Harden can take you so far in the regular season, but I think Kevin Durant will take you to that next step in the playoffs. That's how good I think Kevin Durant is, and I think him being out is everything for Brooklyn. This is the player that they want in their team. Again, James Harden is nice. He's a nice complementary player to Kevin Durant, but I don't think having James Harden and Kyrie Irving is a recipe for a championship. I think you need Kevin Durant. So I think this is everything. They need to monitor this, and they need to be very, very careful with Kevin Durant. So this is everything for the Brooklyn Nets. All right. The New York Knicks being 31-27, which is 6th in the Eastern Conference. Is this something, nothing, or everything? I think this is something. I think the Knicks are at least making themselves a little bit more attractive to those top tier NBA free agents. I do believe that they are building a culture. In the past 5-6 years, we've been kind of trashing the Knicks, saying that they're not a good team, that they're a laughable team, no one wants to play there. Now they're 31-27. I do believe this is something. I don't think this is a recipe for winning with the team they have right now in the future. I do believe they are making themselves attractive to a good player, which if they do come, they will keep the Knicks consistent. So I do believe this is something for the Knicks being 31-27. And again, I predicted them to finish last in the Eastern Conference. So this is something for the Knicks. All right, the last one, Tyler Herro being questioned by the Miami Heat for his work ethic and his fame. Is this something, nothing, or everything? I think this is nothing. Now, hear me out. I think this is nothing because, again, Tyler Herro's 20 years old, 21 or 20 years old. He's a millionaire at 20. Again, the fame will play a huge part in this. Again, when you're 20 and you're young and you're a good-looking player and you play for the Miami Heat in South Beach, I do believe that you're going to get consumed a little bit by the media or by fame. And I think that the Miami Heat, or at least this was reported right here, that it's an overreaction. Again, Tyler Herro's kind of struggling a little bit this year because teams have film on him. Teams have game plans to stop him. So he's going to struggle a little bit in his second year because teams have game plans to plan for him. So it's going to take him a while to adjust. Don't worry, he will adjust. Again, he is on social media. People all around Miami know him. I've listened to podcasts of how Tyler Herro can't walk around Miami because people will recognize him and people will go up and talk to him. So again, I think this is nothing. Tyler Herro's fine. I don't question his work ethic. I think Tyler Herro is a gym rat. Again, when he was in Kentucky, I think John Calipari said that he never leaves the gym. So I don't question it. I do believe Tyler Herro is a gym rat. And I don't really question this because I like Tyler Herro and I've seen his work ethic, at least in his first year. And Jimmy Butler, another person who has complimented him in the past for his work ethic, will get him straight if he is a little straying off his work ethic. So I don't think this is nothing. I wanted to come on here and talk about that because what would you do if you were 20 years old and you got, $7 million and you had all these endorsements? You'd probably, lose track a little bit, right? Because the fame might get to you, but, give them a year, give them a couple months, let them see this story, let them talk to the front office. Don't worry, it'll be settled straight. He just needs to learn. Again, he's 20 years old. He's young, right? I'm pretty sure if we all got millions of dollars when we're 20, we'd probably be a little crazy too. So just leave this here. That's nothing. It's all right. Tyler Herro will be all right. The Miami Heat will be all right. So yeah, that's my segment of something, nothing, or everything. I give you my opinion on sports controversy or sports news. So hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Keep up with the show by clicking the subscribe button to get the latest from the show. Also, turn on the notifications to know when a new episode is posted. Thank you.